So Malignant gets a second trailer. I think there's some serious potential for this film. Now, like I've said in the past with horror films, namely, there are a lot of films I've seen I really liked, but there's also a lot in the horror brand that I would not personally watch. And James Wan, who I think is a very talented director based on Aquaman, but I know he's been very lauded within the horror space. I won't watch most of his movies. For example, in particular, some of the movies that were cited in conjunction with this one. I'm not a Conjuring person. I'm not an Insidious person, and I'm certainly not a Saw person, so none of those franchises stood out to me. For me, just from my background as a Christian, and just from personal standpoint, I'm not a big gore person, so endless bloody sequences does not appeal to me. But on top of that, and I understand maybe in like Saw, that's a lot of what you're getting. Torture porn, that's what's, I guess, commonly called. But with other films like Insidious or The Conjuring, I will not watch like dark supernatural films. That's just not my thing. I know it's a big mainstay in horror these days. That just does not appeal to me because that world for me is very real. I mean, it's like it's not entertaining. And it's if at any point I watch a movie trailer or something like that, and there's something that comes up maybe like dark supernatural stuff, paranormal I'm looser on, as you'll maybe see in this context. I'm looking at Malignant with a little more of a critical eye, but one that may be a bit more adventurous in this particular context of the film. But when it comes to certain films, like if they go in like really dark supernatural topics or maybe even the occult, that's an automatic no for me. Malignant might not be that. Again, this is a James Wan movie, and it's going to be one of the same day HBO Max specials, which I am excited for. The first trailer has serious potential. Now, like I said, they cite some stuff in there about the entity, I guess is what we'll call it, and or him. Something. But he's named Gabriel, and at one point the lead actress, who does a good job in the first trailer, actually I don't remember her name, but she does a fabulous job in the film from what it looks like, she refers to him as the devil. Well, that could mean anything. I mean, at one point you're like, okay, no, that could be referring to him like literally. The entity's name is Gabriel, so I go, maybe there's a religious analogy here, I don't know exactly, but I hope it's not really the devil. But perhaps someone might refer to that individual as like, oh, you're the devil, right? That person's the devil. I think it's maybe a bit severe of an attribution, but some people feel that emotionally motivated in that regard. So for me, I don't know how to judge it on that level. Is it like a deeply supernatural movie? Is it not? It's paranormal at best. And there was certainly a sinister aura to it. But what really shocked me on the first trailer, again, like I said, Warner Brothers spent a little money with this movie. The VFX for this. And I understand, like, she's sort of in, like, this lucid, like, dream state of what she's seen in reality. And it's incredible. I mean, the way they do the VFX is very fluid. I love it, that type of VFX. I mean, Venom did that so well. And I see that employed in Malignant quite professionally. But some of the scares are really good, too. Again, like I said, I'm going to read a content review ahead in advance so I can understand maybe what I'm going in for, and if the supernatural really is going to be themed here, or if it's more so just paranormal, like kind of like a ghost story. Well, a ghost that's rather malignant. But, I'm trying to be open to it in the case that it isn't and it's more paranormal in nature. Let's take a look and see. We're going to watch the second trailer. The official trailer got a second trailer. I'm happy about that. Because, again, the first trailer was so strong. We're going to watch the main trailer for this first. And not every ever, HBO Max film has gotten one. So I'm pleased with the ones that do. Anyway, we're going to watch this. We'll talk about it more in my condensed news. Let's watch the video together. Okay, here we go.
When I was young, something happened to me.
Stop saying that.
That scene was creepy.
Who are you talking to? Gabriel. Is he your imaginary friend?
Whatever you went through before you joined our family, it hurt you in a way that I can't even imagine. You created him.
Maddie, what's going on?
So that you could survive.
Oh, maybe. Well, Gabriel's calling.
Something that was a bit different, but yet hark back.
This is like a trailer. They call it trailer 2, but I guess they're featuring.
Take chances.
Like it's a trailer feature hybrid.
The same old thing again and again and again.
That's neat.
Audiences are starved for something that's new and different.
And we'll see. You do a lot of supernatural films though, so I don't know. Is it truly different? We'll see. I mean, the VFX make it look that way.
We are going to turn back the hands of time. Close your eyes.
See, I love the VFX for this. And partly because they've done this at night. In a night space, too. It looks equally creepy. That was very well done, the first trailer.
Who is Gabriel?
Him.
I'm the only one that can see you.
So it's one of those stories like, oh, they won't believe me. It's a very strong horror witness.
Malignant. Rated R. September 10th.
There's that creepy voice that appears in like every horror movie. Does it seem like that? This is very interesting, actually. I mean, again, like I said, this could be more supernatural in nature. I don't know. It's either going to be supernatural or paranormal. I did get shades of something interesting, though, at least in the first couple of introductions. I mean, these are shots we've seen previously in the first trailer, like the birthday scene, and she's talking to her imaginary friend. Yeah, that's very creepy, right, with imaginary friends. I've seen films like this before, where it's like, oh, that imaginary friend really isn't so friendly, are they? But the way that they describe it, it's very interesting. She talks, how does the trailer say it? And by the way, I love the format of a trailer, how it's sort of like, I've never really seen a trailer like this, where I've seen featurettes that offer new footage, but I haven't seen like an official trailer featurette hybrid. So to feature some interviews from James Wan, I think it was a very creative move. Now, some people are going to look at that and be like, is he in the movie? Is this being said like it was this film for the... I don't know, it might confuse people, but I'm like, okay, I watch enough trailers and I'm very used to the format of the standard trailer, so this is new. And I don't know, I find it kind of interesting. But the way they describe Gabriel is that, like, he hurt this child and that she created him. And they say specifically so that you could survive. I hear that, and it's like, well, maybe that could refer to, did she have a past history with abuse? That could easily be a factor, right? Because some people, or especially I would imagine for kids, when they're in that type of situation, kids will do things... And maybe, in retrospect, we'll look at it and be like, well, they shouldn't make that decision. They're a kid, though. And when you're a kid and you're in that type of environment, especially maybe like your entire childhood for a number of years, you can't, you don't have all the tools at your disposal to work with that an adult would, especially if you're not, think about it this way. When you're born into the world, you don't have... Right, you don't have all the knowledge right when you're a baby. You don't. We learn as we grow, right? We adapt in that way. We adapt to our social environments, and we understand, how the world works according to whether it's our behavior or what we're taking in, or people in our lives who are administering this knowledge to us. Kids don't come in knowing everything. So when you're a kid and you don't have that language to understand that type of situation, what that really is, in reality, it'd be like an abusive situation. You try and rationalize it to the best of your ability, right? With the language that you know and the understanding that you have in life. That's why, good parenting and good influences in a child's life are very vital. When you're a kid that's in that type of position, yeah, it's detrimental to a kid. I mean, in every other capacity, you can have somebody who's getting... and abuse can vary on so many different levels. You can have, you can be exposed to like an alcoholic environment, or you can have a kid who's just emotionally berated, or even a kid who's like molested or something. And again, a variety of factors. But abuse does damage children. So, if that's a factor here, that maybe Gabriel, yes, he might be paranormal. Maybe it's supernatural. In that case, be like, well, we're trying something different, James Wan. Like, we've seen how many movies at this point where you've done the whole supernatural thing, and I will not watch those. I just can't. I did cover La Llorona, though, on this channel. I will be fair, I did cover that. And I know it's not specifically his movie, he's just associated with the Conjuring branding, but that was when they were saying it was, like, from the same people who made this. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess it's not a Conjuring movie. Oh, wait, it is? Well, I kept it on because the trailers were actually kind of fun to look at. They were. It was a more milder in terms of those films from what I've heard. It wasn't the most severe. But anyway, in context, again, it's supernatural stuff. But when you have a kid, again, like I said, who's in that type of emotional environment, they will do things to cope. So perhaps she manifests Gabriel as an imaginary friend to survive, essentially. Somebody to help them walk through that time, because the adults in their life might either be they might be unaware of the reality going on, or they're privy to it, or maybe in a case maybe they're the actual abuser. And Some of them, well, obviously some people are going to willfully not want to be involved then because they're going to do whatever they want. But then you have adults who just don't know maybe that. Even then, like I've said, if you're not somebody who's been in that type of situation, whatever variety it could be. I mean, again, as I said, abuse has quite a range. You've got like drug abuse, you've got emotional abuse, psychological abuse. Well, I know emotional and psychological are kind of combined, but like emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. I mean, many different types. And you have kids that are exposed to all of that. I mean, they come from many different backgrounds, and wherever in the world, there's many kids that have been in that type of situation. And coping is different, but fundamentally, I do believe it's for me. Like I've said for a long time, if you don't experience that, it's just, I'm not saying people can't be sympathetic or commiserate, but you just don't fully, or you don't know what it's like to live in that environment. So when I hear this, it's like I heard that line, like immediately just dawned on me. Maybe this girl has a history of abuse. Well, she was an abuse victim. To be fair, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm saying like, well, she was the abuse. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, she was like a legit abuse victim because some of that language did register that way. But we'll see. Like I said, I feel this film is very strong. I mean, visually, it's very competently filmed. I love the tracking shots in the hallway too when it's following her. And it's interesting. I've seen other films that have had this mentality of like, oh, I'm the only one that can see or that is aware of the reality of the situation. And namely, these have been in TV films that I've covered. Some specific ones. Some of you might be aware of the studio because I covered them quite a bit actually. Even though the studio, like in terms of marketing, Warner Brothers is far better at marketing the trailers. They didn't spoil everything here with their movie. This other studio does. More Vista Entertainment. Oh my god, especially among their thrillers. I mean, they make films in every genre, so they make a lot of Christmas movies too. But they make a lot of trailers where they will spoil the ending, and it's ridiculous. It's basically like watching a 90-minute film in 3 minutes. But they've had many films over this past couple years I can look at. Like, Was I Really Kidnapped was one. There was another one I'm trying to think of. Like Shattered Memories, I think is the name of it. But there's a bunch of films that they've released that have people at the center of a traumatic situation or some dangerous time in their lives, and they have people in their lives not believing them, right? For whatever reason, you've got people that have gone through legit trauma, or maybe have amnesia, and it's perceived that their trouble is not exactly, and more so might be a reality within their own mind, and not necessarily reality in the real world. In this case, I believe, I believe this woman. I think she's being traumatized by something. Like maybe her imaginary friend said, I'm tired of being imaginary. I want to be, that could be the idea of being malignant. I guess he or it wants to be real, right? So Gabriel may be like, hey, I'm taking over, right? Well, I hope this isn't like a possession story, but she's aware. She's obviously acutely aware of what's going on. I think she can tell, like I said, I know James Wan is a very high-quality director. He is definitely revered in the horror space. And I can see shades that, so even if, again, like I said, I will be consulting content reviews ahead of time before considering watching this. And it's coming out really quickly, too, like 9 days since filming this. I will be reading content reviews to understand, like, is this more psychological, or more, not psychological, it's definitely psychological, and I love that, but is this more paranormal or supernatural? Or maybe it's more based on reality than we think. Like I said, I can be perfectly, I might be completely off base, but some of that language, like maybe this could be a story about abuse that she experienced, and Gabriel is a manifestation of horrific, but a coping mechanism. Could be. There's, I guess, a coping mechanism that's had enough of her. Like, no, I'm taking over now. But okay, what do you guys think? I mean, that'd be horrific. But like, she'd definitely be scared in that case. Let me know down below what you guys think about Malignant. Again, like I said, I think it's a very strong horror film. And HBO Max, it's interesting to me to feel about like HBO Max. Both their horror films have been done by James Wan to some association. I know he didn't direct, and I didn't cover it because again, I don't watch the Conjuring movies. But with The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, I know he didn't do that film, but again, it's associated with his brand that he started. So again, it's like, he's been in both movies now, and, associated with both. In this case, he's directing. And this looks really strong. Well, like I said, though, we'll see. But as I said, let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to get stuff from like, remember to sharing that bell. I don't think there'll be another trailer, but if there is, I'm like, hey, that's a nice surprise. But I've really enjoyed looking at Malignant thus far. I'm very excited, and I will definitely consider watching it. Again, reading that content review and getting a better understanding for what I'm going in for. But until we get to whatever new HBO Max movie is going to be coming out with a new advertisement, whatever that happens to be, I don't think there's many left. I think I've looked at most of the films that have coming out. I think I don't know, but I think The Matrix might be the last one. I'm waiting for that trailer. I'm kind of excited for that one. Matrix 4. But until we get to whatever point that happens to be, or whatever trailer we get to watch here next, I will see you then. But for now, thanks for watching this video. I love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, man. God bless, and peace.